Oh, that's right. It's episode 41. Potty here with Chewie, the Canadian. And we have an exhilarating episode in store for you today. Let me start just by saying that there are multiple moving pieces in the way that the league is constructed, and we are here by the gift of greatness to present it to you. But before I do, why don't we check in with Chewie in Chewie's Corner?
Yeah, unfortunately, no aces today, but we actually got a two of hearts. It's OPG. Yeah, that was actually kind of funny. We didn't plan that. But card we got this week. It's one of the OPG like cards. They're the playing cards. So every year they come out with like a whole new deck of playing cards with the players, and like, so this one's the two of hearts. It would be pretty cool to collect like the whole deck worth. You can't like buy it outright. Like you have to pull them in the packs, or someone like sells them all. But yeah, we got the two of hearts this week, and we got, actually, I ordered one card. I don't know if you guys remember, a few weeks ago there was a card that I showed. It was like that printing plate, that magenta printing plate. Oh, right here, I got it. So yeah, this bad boy. So I was saying that's the magenta printing plate, one of one. So this is the only one that exists. I found the blue one for that card. So that one's oh shit. Uh-oh. I found the blue one of it. So now I'm gonna have the magenta and blue printing plate. Oh, from for that specific card, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know what other color printing plates there are. I guess yellow. Oh no, cyan is blue, isn't it? I'm like, I'm gonna say I'm like 90% sure the cyan's like the bluish color. Yeah. But anyways, so we got, I guess, the cyan coming in, and I just dropped all my cards everywhere. But anyways, I'll show that off next week, hopefully, if it's in by then. We also got a rave going on in the back behind me, if you're watching. And yeah, how's it going in Legoland, Potty's Legoland?
Boom shakalaka, let me tell you what I'm building. It's an incredible toy in the arsenal that we're bringing forward. Let me pull it up right now. I believe I'm about to pull it up right onto the screen. I'm actually looking at myself, wondering when I'm going to show these Legos. But I've got some crazy Lego. Here it comes. Look at this bad boy coming up on the screen. Oh, actually, I turned it around backwards. So it's this other way. Oh my God, look at this bad
Okay.
ass, looks like a tank. You got these nice, back end in, the exhaust ports have these, and then we've
Oh
got
yeah.
like these hummingbird wings that just float around like on the tip of a feather every turn you make. But if you come down the center, it looks like a galactic, destroyer. Great build. I would highly recommend it. I got that one on Craigslist. And oh, check this out right here. The auto filtration system, with the gaskets and, the other things. Great build. Loved it. Legos.
Actually, while you brought up the Lego sponsorship thing, I was watching some videos. You could actually, there's like a Lego affiliate program where I think you could like sign up, and essentially like, you know how like, I guess there's like bloggers and like people who like, I guess like you talk about the Lego. You can have like your affiliate link. So if people buy Lego through like your link, you get like a portion of the proceeds, kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe Rinkside is gonna be a future affiliate of Lego. Buy your Rinkside on, wow, buy your Lego on Rinkside, and supports us, kind of thing. We'll see. I don't know all the details, but that's kind of what it sounded like. And yeah, I don't know. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Chewy, what a great idea. You're just spilling them forth like a volcano, erupting in opportunity. I completely agree. You should buy your Legos through Rinkside because Rinkside Legos help support Rinkside. So if you're on your next build, I'll pre-test it, give you your
Yeah,
thoughts.
and speaking of full circle, it's that time of year. Season 6 has done its full circle. I think we're at the end. 50 games played, playoff matches set. Where did everyone end off, Potty? So, yeah, I'll take the pros. You take the minors. Standings, of course. Anyways, so on the Rocket side, Alaska, your season 6 President Trophy winners. They actually won it last season too, I believe. And they got bounced in the second round. So I don't know. It's kind of a curse. Only one President Trophy winner won the cup in season 2, and that was Las Vegas. And for anyone who's not familiar with hockey, the President's Trophy is like the first in the league. So whoever finishes at the top. So big congrats to Alaska. In second place, total standings, we have Las Vegas with the best goal differential as well with 85, and in fact the best goals against with 98. So with that, one of the awards you'll see this season will go to Mason Stonewall and his team Las Vegas, and that's for the least amount of goals let in by a team. So huge shout out to Stonewall and huge shout out to Vegas for picking up an award this season. Next up in third, we're going to jump to the other side. Your Copenhagen Vikings ended up making a final push to pass Miami with 71 points, goal differential of 55. So Copenhagen takes the conference, the Mr. Hockey Conference, with Miami not too far behind in second place in the conference, fourth in the league, 69 points. Nice. Um, tough little streak to end it, but hey, you get the division win as well. So you got 3 division winners in Alaska, Copenhagen, and Miami. And speaking of division winners, we're actually not speaking of it. Forget I just said that. Anyways, we're heading back to the other conference, the Rocket. San Diego in 5th place. Uh, First expansion team to make the playoffs. Well, 2 expansion teams this season made the playoffs, but I guess the best record team with 58 points. Only a 1 goal differential, so scoring was a struggle, and goaltending was not too bad, to be honest. But they're going to need to pick it up in the playoffs. We'll talk about that a little more in our head-to-head matchups discussions. But now, speaking of division winners, your Redwater Undertakers take the Central Division. They also take, oh, my math's going to be brutal here, 6th place. That was a crazy fight. If anyone watched the game, Redwater needed to beat Albuquerque 3-0 essentially, and with 2 minutes left, Albuquerque pulls their goalie. Obviously, in real life, well, yeah, obviously they didn't want to pull their goalie, but because EA, it's play now, they didn't know what was on the line. They pulled their goalie, and Ezra Swift scored with 2 seconds left to seal Redwater in the playoffs. It was an insane game. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it in the plays of the week this week. I hope we do see it. But next up in 7th place, we got Albuquerque. I'm going to pull it up on this side, actually, so I don't mess it. Yeah, 7th place, we got Albuquerque with 1 goal differential. They're actually eliminated from the playoffs, even though they're 7th, just because of the way the conferences work. So, unfortunately, a tough season for Albuquerque, lost on goal differential. And you know what? They're going to come back strong next season. We all know Cam doesn't like losing, so you'll make a push to be better. Heading back over to the Mr. Hockey Conference in 8th place, your Jacksonville Vipers with a goal differential of 5. Also a tough little streak to end it, but they pulled through with, pretty safely with 55 points. They were second in the division in the Atlantic, and they will be seeing the Miami Maccabees in the first round, which we'll talk about later. In 9th place, your Florence Firebirds, the second expansion team, or I guess the first expansion team to make it with San Diego, and they were the season 3 expansions with a 21 goal differential. So that's pretty impressive, even though they're ninth. Part of it was their early season struggles. Part of it was their goaltending as well, letting 129 points, well, 129 goals in. And a little interesting fact, they're the only team that wasn't able to win a game in OT or shootouts. And their last 10 games, they only won 2 games. So that's a little tough going into playoffs. Obviously, I think the last game they messed with their line, so they weren't trying hard. But with a record like that going into playoffs, I would be a little worried. And speaking of going into playoffs, your Turku Finns will not be going into playoffs this year. They're missing again for the first time since season 2, I believe, with a goal differential of 5. The numbers were against them for the last few weeks, and it was just inevitable. So Ani Escola and your Turku Finns will be golfing early this year, but they'll be looking to come back strong next. We're going to rifle through the last 6 at the bottom, but Honolulu comes in at 12th, or sorry, Norfolk next at 11th, 49 points. They break a franchise record with, I believe, points and wins. So huge shout out to Norfolk. Honestly, all these bottom 6 teams, they have, their future looks bright. Honolulu as well had, I believe, a record-breaking season. And then Tennessee, they kind of dropped over last season, which was a little bit surprising. I thought they would be a little better, but they're 13th. Rome 14th with 35 points. Um, kind of expected them to be there. North Bay with 31. Was hoping they'd do better this season, but you have your Boston Buccaneers in last again this season, but I don't think that means much because they have a good roster. It's just another season, kind of like Florence. They built a good roster, but it took them a couple seasons to get going. So, next year could be Boston's year. And that's your breakdown. While I have a coughing fit, and Potty takes the Miners stats.
And coming up next, we've got the Miners in first place with 55 points is Warsaw. Coming in at second with 51 points is Tokyo. Tied with Tokyo is Sydney with 51 points, but they've got a 4-goal differential of the lesser. So fourth place then goes to Iceland. And, from the eliminated pool, we've got Malmo, Berlin, Wellington, and Beijing. So good for them, good for their points, and it's great to see the progression of these minor teams.
Yeah.
And we'll now move along from the minors standings to the, what do we got in store for us? Oh, it looks like the special teams rankings. We have Albuquerque at the top with a number 1, followed by Miami with a tied for number 1, and then Copenhagen with a number 3. Down at the bottom, we got North Bay, San Diego, and Rome. And that looks like all we have in store for our special teams, but I'm going to keep watching this video. By the way, basically my mic was off when we recorded this, so that's why I'm dubbing over it, and I'm just talking to you right now. Okay, now we're on Faceoff, so looks like at the top we got Redwater. Second place, if you look at the Faceoff rank, it's actually not sorted correctly, so second place goes to Jacksonville, and third to Honolulu. At the bottom, we've got Turku, Norfolk, and North Bay. And now our GOHLS Season 6 leaders. If we look at the GOHLS leaders, we got Chester Chess with 37. And the assist leaders, we've got David Leathers with 39. And our points leaders with David Leathers with 61.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. We have on your screen right now 3 records broken, 3 awards handed out, or will be handed out. Chester Chest breaks the most goals in a season record by 2 goals, takes Tom Krieg's record from last season. So 37 is your new record. He beat 35. David Leathers as well takes the most assist record. 39 last season was also 35, but awesome to see Geralt Winkler and Catherine Kamenev also surpassed that last season. So a couple more players, these records are going to just keep getting broken year to year. Chester Chest also will take your OV award for the season, most goals, and David Leathers will take your Messier award this season with the most assists. And a couple records in the last column here that were smashed. The points record, most points in a season was 52. Leathers takes it by 9 points, 61. And we also saw 4 other players pass 52 points. So again, awesome to see just like a ton of players getting up there. 2 Albuquerque players as well, Chester Chest and Catherine Kamenev. It's kind of interesting. They missed the playoffs, but had 2 of the top 3 best forwards in the league, theoretically. So, those top 2 players aren't going to win it, just like real life hockey. Edmonton's not going to win it because you need more than McDavid and Draisaitl. Sorry, Edmonton. Go Leafs, go. But big shout out to Leathers. He also broke the points per game record. It was 1.05. It's now like 1.21 or something. So big shout out to those players, and shout out to everyone in the top 10 because you're going to see these players, up here for a long time.
Yo, you're absolutely right, Chewie. They won't be up here for a long time. Actually, they will be up here for a long time. And some people that are just popping up right now are our rookie leaders. Let's talk about them. We've got our goals leader, Stig Magnus, with 7. Assist leader, Jerry Jackson, with 14. And our points leader, Dank Turtle, with 16. What a commendable season.
Thank you. I was going to say you're reading my mind tonight, figuring out what I'm going to say next. So, Dank Turtle did have four less games played than Stig Magnus. He joined after week 1. Uh, so points per game wise, Dank Turtle, like he had the most points and the most points per game. But also an interesting, if we go back to the goals leaders, Ryan Jones and Andrew Payne. Ryan Jones only played 30 games this season, so he had 20 less games than most other rookies, and he had one less goal than Stig. And in the point side, he was only 5 points less. So imagine if he played the full season. Unfortunately, we can't go back and redo it, but Ryan Jones is going to be a household name for any team moving forward. And Andrew Payne as well. He had even less games played. He had 26 game played. He was one game into um, making this season's qualifications for Rookie of the Year. So unfortunately, he loses his rookie status next season. He won't be able to qualify because he's just over half of the games played. But again, 6 goals, and I think he was pretty up there with points. He isn't on the leaderboard, but I'm pretty sure he could be like 11th or 12th. And shout out to Daniel Ackers as well. 50 games played, but hey, he did his part for his team. Up there in the boards, and big shout out to Jerry Jackson for just being a great defense. Yeah, so little thing I wanted to bring up in terms of the future of stats. One of my good friends and a familiar face in the league, Eric Davis, is back. He came back about over a season ago. He's been working with with the stats team. He's been putting together the season 7 stats page, the standings, putting up a ton of new stuff for the future, including point streaks, which will now be tracked, which we haven't tracked before. So that's going to be awesome just to see like which players are consistently scoring. He's, I believe, also doing a ranking for the advanced stats sheet. So, just more things that owners can look at it to help them in their decision making with lines, with strats and everything like that. And yeah, I know he's doing a ton of other things. I think power rankings will come out soon as well for the league. He brought that a few seasons ago. He's going to bring it back hopefully. But there's so much in the pipeline. We talk almost on the daily. So big shout out to Eric Davis, known right now as Derek Avis. Um, and yeah, the future of stats is bright. So if you're interested in joining the stats team to help enter, to help the growth, I mean, I think we've had our best stats team ever, and like super excited to see who else wants to join.
And
Yep.
moving along, we've got the upcoming playoff head to head. So, Alaska has demonstrated a 5-1 record with a plus 10 goal differential. I expect them to take San Diego in 5 games.
Okay. So San Diego will win one game. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think obviously the season didn't go well with San Diego versus Alaska. When it comes to that, seasons don't mean much because once the playoffs start, it's those 7 games. That's all that matters. Um, Alaska has a dominant team, but last season you saw Albuquerque took the first 2 games against them. I could see San Diego taking a few. Um, and you know what? I'm going to go off the board here. I'm actually going to take San Diego in 7 games for this series. I think Stone, their goalie, is going to steal the show. He's done it before for Florida, and I think this year you're going to see one of the biggest upsets in playoff goals history. I don't know if anyone else but Alaska will be upset if San Diego wins, but based off the standings on the season, we'll call it an upset. So I'm going to take San Diego in 7. Shout out to Matt. I hope you figure out your strats and don't make me look dumb. Yeah, so we got Redwater versus Las Vegas, Central winner versus second place. They only have 4 games, if you notice. That's because 3 teams from the Pacific made it in and only one from the Central. So there's not like a division matchup here. They only played 4 times this season. This season, Redwater, pretty much similar, well, almost exactly like San Diego. They had a negative goal differential of 10, Redwater versus Vegas, and Redwater went 1-3 versus the Sinners as well, with only 1 win by 1 point. So, um, yeah, I mean, again, regular season showed Las Vegas is the stronger team. On paper, Las Vegas is the stronger team, but Redwater battled back. I mean, they also have a goalie in Coco Raccoon who's stolen the show for Redwater for a number of seasons. And I think I'm going to go off the board again, but I'm going to go Redwater in 6 games. So I think Las Vegas isn't going to be able to pull through. I think Redwater's got a lot of staff in Sponge Scrub, Cornwall, Boudreaux that will help put their minds together to figure out this Las Vegas team. And I'm sorry, Doug, nothing against you, but I think Redwater's gonna take this one in 6. Potty, any notes for this series? What do you think this will be ending off at?
You know, Chewie, I'm not really sure what I said earlier, but I think it was something around 4-2, Las Vegas winning.
All right. We're gonna take a quick pause here. I want to write this down because I want to go back to this like in a couple weeks. So you said Alaska will take San Diego in 4-1, correct? In 5. So and then I said in 7, San Diego, and then you're saying Las Vegas versus Redwater in 6, but Las Vegas will take it, and I'm saying the opposite. So, all right, let's go move on to the next one here.
All right. Well, in the next one we've got Copenhagen versus Florence. It's a 3-3 series for Copenhagen. Florence is a 3-2-1, and lo and behold, they can't win in overtime. But basically, where I see my perspective is Copenhagen sweeping Florence. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying Copenhagen 4-0. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm the owner of Copenhagen. Actually, this was one of the matchups that I didn't want to happen. Weirdly enough, I would have rather Turku had made it and we go against them, or even Jacksonville fall to 4th. Just because I feel like we've played better than versus Jacksonville this season. I think we've figured out what works against them. Florence, as you can see, I have no idea what works against them. I mean, I shouldn't be giving us all away. Can we bleep that out? Uh, anyways, I think we will win because I think again, playoffs is all that matters. I think Florence doesn't have the experience in playoffs. When stressful times come, if they're up 2-0 or if they're down 2-0, are they going to be able to make the right decisions? Are they going to be in the right headspace? I spent most of my playoff series golfing, so I was always in a great headspace. And I might be golfing for these playoffs just to make sure that we take it. But I'm going to give Florence a couple wins here, and I'm going to say Copenhagen in 6. So Florence will take 2 wins against us, and I think they're all going to be close. But I think when it comes down to it, with the depth and the decision making, I hope that we take it, and I think that we will. Yep. So now we got. Oh my god, we got the Miami Maccabees versus the Jacksonville Vipers. Your Battle of Florida. I believe you guys saw each other last season in the first round, or was it the second round? First round. So you're getting your. This is a rivalry here. I think you guys have seen each other a few seasons, and I think you guys are going to be seeing each other a lot. But over the season, I mean, does it get any more even than this? This is the most even number I've seen. 3-3, 3-3, 0 goal differential. Um, it looks like it went both teams' way this season. Couple of interesting games. Jacksonville 8-6 versus Miami. You don't see that versus these two teams often. So the games Miami won, there was a couple 1 goal games, and then there was a 4 goal game at the end. Then the same thing with Jacksonville. They won a couple won 2-goal games, and then they won a blowout. So I think this is going to be the battle of the strats here. I think these two teams are so evenly matched that you're not going to win just based off the players you have, but the how they play the game. Um, Obviously, Potty, that no one thought you'd be here. I think at this point in the season, I think everyone thought you wouldn't make the playoffs, but you took your division. You have home ice advantage, so we can't count you out. Personally, I think the Maccabees are going to take this series, and I'm going to have you guys take it in 5. Um, just because of the fact that I think you have a very good knowledge of strats. Not to say Scurvy Dog doesn't. I know he does. This man is like was this or he is and was the strats guru for seasons. But I think with the season they have, they're a little bit in their heads. So I think that Miami is going to take this one in 5 games. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right, and I think you hit it spot on. 5 games going to the Maccabees. Give them one out of credit, but I can't envision other losses. Like, this has just come down to what we were built for, to endure and to persevere through against all odds, against all circumstance, against all expectations. We will prevail. We are the dominant team. We are the Miami Maccabees, and that's how it's going to be sown.
Yeah, so we'll quickly shout something out just because it wasn't well, it was announced a couple weeks ago, but for everyone new in the league, um, this off season is going to be a busy one. We have a bunch of stuff planned, specifically Ani Escola, the deputy commissioner. You're going to see your World Cup, the third one. We do one every other season. So this is season 6. We're seeing the third World Cup that will see 4 USA teams, 2 Canada teams, a Europe team, and a rest of the world team, which Russia will be a part of. We're also seeing the first ever World Junior Championship. So this will be players that are eligible are 22 and younger. So not just rookies, not just prospects. If you're 22 or younger, you're eligible. So this will be, again, another international tournament. 4 teams, US, Canada, rest of the world, including Europe. And funny enough, a Joe team. So your Jordan NHLs, the bots of the league, they're going to be showing up. I think they'll be going home pretty quick, but they'll be showing up to this World Junior. So keep an eye on that. A couple other cool special events. We're having a little mini tournament with an all-female team. So I believe there's only about 19 female players in the league, and they're going to be getting together and facing an alumni team of old GOHLS players who retired, left the league, but they still have a place in GOHLS' heart. So they'll be banding back together to face the all-female team and none other than the all-team owners teams. So all your GOHLS owners, or most of your GOHLS owners, are going to be getting together, getting on the ice, getting the dress shoes off and the donuts out of the way to get on the ice. And a little surprise for the goalie, since there's no goalie owner. We're going to have a little surprise there. So stay tuned on that. And the final tournament showcase is every season we do this. It's a prospect game. So this season we're doing the Europe prospects. That's just where the teams are. Every draft eligible player will be playing in this. So owners, keep an eye out on who you want to draft. We got Team Austria, or the Austria prospects, France, Norway, and Ukraine. So a little mini tournament there to see all your draft eligible players. So this offseason is going to be packed. It's going to be a little longer due to the expansion draft, but there's so much content, so much stuff to see. And huge shout out to Ani, who's going to be hosting most of this, and to the streamers who will be doing their off-season time to stream these games.
Oh, Chewie, you got me again. That's crazy, man. I can totally believe in you. But let me tell you, your lights look outstanding this evening. It looks like a club. I'm wondering, do I need to wait in line? Can I tip the bouncer 20? Can I skip ahead? How much does it cost? I'm trying to get in. But this looks fantastic. And let me tell you, what we got in store are some plays of the week.
Boston's got control of it now from their own end. Big hit, absolutely lowering the boom. Takes the bank pass feed. Here's a chance. Here's a chance. He scores. Even undermanned, they deliver by the power play. But shorthanded, they get aggressive. Hacked at, he's got it in the offensive zone. Whoa. The offensive zone. Whoa. Whoa. Scores. They deliver big time with the man advantage. That's a nice goal. Can't connect. San Diego's got it now. Diego's got it now. And they score! On the power play, they make it happen.
It up, 15 seconds, and the Redwater needs this goal. It's an empty net. Farrell's able to get it in the zone. 8 seconds remaining. Redwater has it. Ezra Swift down the left side. He needs to get a shot. 4, 3, 2. They score. 3 seconds left. Redwater's going to make the playoff. What a performance. They scored 3 in the third period. And what an amazing way for Redwater to make the playoffs. San Diego on a face-off winning streak. And there's the one-timer, Matt Green, with the third goal for the Reapers. They'll go up 3-0.
And they're able to retain their lead. And that one's turned away. Denies him again. Tremendous pressure here in the offensive end. They're coming in way.
Oh, what a crazy combination of plays of the week. Great representation by the goalies. Loves to see that, 4 saves in 5 seconds. What a commending athleticism. We're going to move along to our interview with Hume and Willis.
All right, we got 2 guests here with us today, both from the Turku Finns. Jason Willis, honorable mention, he played in the World Cup a couple seasons ago, and friend of the show from before, David Hume, who, we're going to shout him out, 4 Pro All-Star Game player, 1 All-Pro vote, won the Rookie of the Year, played in 2 World Cups, and he won 1 World Cup champion. Welcome back, Hume, and welcome, Willis, to the show.
There we go.
Fuck, sorry, I was having a coughing fit. One thing all the Rinkside viewers have been dying to hear, I've been getting messages, DMs at like 3 a.m. in the morning. They're like, yo, we need to know more about Hume's homebrew. We need more. So Hume, and Willis, if you're part of that too, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the homebrew you got going on?
Yeah, so we started, I think 2 years ago, if I remember right. The pandemic kind of screwed up my perception of time. I believe it's 2021. We started doing mead with a friend of ours who had been brewing beer for a little bit longer, and really enjoyed it, the process, and the product. And then we did mead for a while, kind of got bored with it, decided to go into beer because it's a little more complicated. And, there's a lot more styles too. So we've been, brewing together, me, Willis, and our buddy, started a group, we're not like a company or anything, but Bibulous Brewing. And, we've been to a couple festivals over the last 2 years. Haven't won any medals or anything yet, unfortunately, but I've done a couple charity events. So that's pretty much it. We just make beer that, we want to drink, and hopefully other people want to drink it.
Sweet. So like on a scale from like Bud Light to Corona, how good is it?
It's Yingling. I'm gonna say it's about Yingling.
Okay, there we go. Sweet. Well, yeah, that's pretty awesome that you guys do this. One day you're gonna win the award, I bet, and you're gonna be on the beer store shelves up here in Canada. Whatever your convenience stores in the U.S., and you'll be a millionaire. So
that's the pie in the sky idea.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to have a beer called Rinkside or something, because you're hearing it here first. the Rinkside bump for Hume and Willis's beer.
Oh
But
yeah, I mean we're probably gonna put Labatt out of business if I'm being honest. Oh
I
like
yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
good. That's good.
we do ciders too.
that was good. That was
Or
clever.
like a, you know.
Yeah. Sweet. So we obviously got you guys here for a reason. Hume, you messaged me a few days ago with an idea you wanted to look into. We're calling it, I guess, the points per cap.
Yeah, we were just hanging out. Wednesday, I think, is when I pitched the idea to you. Just having a few brews, shooting the shit about the season and goals in general. And it's actually Willis's idea. He was like, they're like a stat, that they can like basically show the efficiency of somebody compared to their cap, because we're a cap league. So the when it comes to building a team, that number is important. You got to stay under the cap. So naturally, in any league with a salary cap, it affects how you build your team, because you can't just be the New York Yankees and go out and get all the best players. And I was like, well, I mean, no, there's not a stat like that yet that I know of. So we kind of just came to the conclusion that, well, if you took somebody's points and divided it by their cap number, their overall, then you'd get a number, and then you could compare different people. You could compare, if you wanted to break it down, and say your team needed a playmaking winger, then you could just look at all the playmakers and their points per cap number to compare two different people, basically.
And it doesn't necessarily have to just be points. Really, what I think would make the stat actually shine is if we were to take out each position and whether we want it to be defensive or offensive, or if we want to base them off face-offs on the center or something like that, and collect a series of stats to go with it to replace points, like a template. And then you take that against the cap to view the efficiency of what you want on your line.
Right. Okay. So, kind of like summarizing. So, on the points end, this is kind of what we got here. But you also brought up face-off. So, like, let's say you have like a 70 like cap player with, a face-off stat compared to another player that's like 98 overall, and if they're similar, like you're essentially comparing that their stats are similar based off like how much you're spending on that player is kind of what I'm gathering.
Right. You're saying, okay, I need somebody that's really good at face-offs. I don't necessarily need them to be good at points, or I don't need them to be great in passing or anything like that. I just need them to get the puck and get it to someone right at the start there. They may not be very good at a lot of other things, which would bring their overall down, which would bring your cap down, which you would then know that's the guy that fills my line, because I want to spend on some more priority players.
Okay, sweet. So like isolating exactly what your team needs. So like you're talking like a playmaking center. So you're focused on, let's say, face-offs and assists for that player specifically, and not necessarily goals.
Right. You're looking for the best person for the job you're trying to fill, without overspending to get us.
Yeah, sweet. That's pretty interesting. I mean, obviously we don't have all that today. Maybe something we can look into putting together for the league. Rinkside services. Powered by Willis and Hume's Brewery. Coming up with this. But yeah, I love the idea. And honestly, even just the points, like I kind of did. Like I was looking at it, I did some math personally. So like, let's say you take, I think I was looking at like Nate Ironsides and Sponge Scrub. So like their season 6 cap is 58 and 60, so super low, and they're producing like 0.74 points and 0.53 points per cap. While you have like Chester Chess, who's this year's goal scoring leader, his points per cap is less than Sponge Scrub's, and then same with like Chris Lee. So like just doing the math, like based off a couple players, like having Chris Lee and Chester Chess on your team brings you the same points per cap, I guess, but you're spending 160 overall on your cap, when if you had Nate Ironsides and Sponge Scrub instead, you save like 41 overall in the cap, but you're producing almost the same points. So I thought that's super interesting. Like Hume said, in a cap league, you know, a lot of these teams are up there hitting the cap. So yeah, I think it's a great idea now. Teams can like figure out.
Yeah. Especially as we're moving forward and the goals in general is like growing. You're gonna have so many options. It's gonna be really hard to isolate what you actually want or who to bring in. And everybody's always gonna have these higher end players before they retire, but that number's just gonna keep rising. So so you're gonna start wanting to fill those ranks, but do you want to actually continue to spend that max number to get it?
Yeah, sweet. No, this is super interesting. I love the idea. I don't know, Pawtai, do you have any thoughts on it as well?
I think it's a really interesting like divider, by cap. You can apply it to any statistic and you can apply it to then evaluate what the unit of a team is worth. So it has broad application, and I think that it reminds me of like Moneyball, of being able to like break down the value of a player under certain circumstances for like their valuation combined with their performance, and then they fill certain roles on a team. And so yeah, I commend you for this. This is really interesting.
Yeah. Do you want to scroll through? I know I think we have the graphic that moves. Pawtai, do you want to scroll through a little bit so people can see? I don't know. I'm kind of curious, like, who's at the bottom. Not to like hurt anybody's feelings, but like, I'm down there. Jeez, I'm not worth my cap. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it's so cool. I wonder if there's any like 90 overalls that are like at the bottom.
Yeah, and then the good thing about it is, you can compare people like however you want. Obviously, defenders are going to have a much lower points per cap number than forwards. Yeah. But you're not going to compare them to forwards. If you're looking at getting a defender, you don't care how they stack up to a, winger.
Yeah.
You can compare them to other D-men,
Right. Yeah, because obviously defense a little different measuring than forwards and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I think I saw like a Billy Busick 90 overall all the way down at the bottom. That's unfortunate, but
yeah, because just taking that go up doesn't necessarily make you an effective player. And there's like a bit of randomness based on that when you like watch the simulation play. And I don't think that's actually random. There's just something going on behind the scenes that we can't see, and a way to measure that just to decide what are these players good at,
right,
without the overall being part of what you need. So like if you wanted a really offensive penalty kill for some reason, it'd be bad. But if you wanted to do that, you could go through and say, I want to get a lot of, my shot powers up, or I want to make sure that guy's he's got high endurance. Check the endurance against him to see if he can last, or he can be on multiple lines. Really see if that person's going to fit, regardless of how much they cost. So that way you can optimize your purchases.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, super interesting. Can we see the defense? Yeah,
yeah, we pulled that up right now.
Let's see who our highest producing defender is based off their cap.
Boom!
Look at that! Wow, and that's by a huge margin too.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, so I feel like, like you mentioned, defenders, maybe not the points, but like even hits per cap. Like if you wanted like a beefy penalty kill, or like, I don't know if you want to track PIMs. I guess you'd want to track it the other way, like the least amount of PIMs per cap, penalty minutes, to stay strong.
Yeah, if you're going against a team that is going to have like a lot of penalty stuff, you usually get penalties against that team for some reason, you would change up your lines to avoid getting penalties based on the stats that you pull per cap. You could utilize it that way instead of just focusing on the cap itself.
Yeah, true. So even like a game-to-game aspect rather than like a full roster build, you're like figuring out which players make the most sense in that game.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I think there's a lot of potential. Maybe we could look at doing other stats. Maybe next season we like compare a stat every week to cap. I don't know how much Pawtai obviously put in a lot of work to the actual chart.
Rinkside stat to cap.
Call it the what?
Call it the Rinkside stat to cap.
Yeah, the Rinkside stats cap. Yeah. Oh, we can scroll back down there, Potty. I wanted to see there was like a right Jägermeister, like 86 overall, 0.2. Like you're spending so much money on a player, right? 86 overall, and he's not producing as much as like these 50 overalls. So it's super interesting to see this chart. But yeah, guys, any last comments before we sign off here?
No, I think we covered it.
No, yeah, we covered pretty much, the idea behind it and, the versatility and, potential usefulness.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, thanks for the idea. Thanks for bringing it to Rinkside. And before we go, Potty and I obviously did the playoff first round predictions. Do you guys want to throw in your predictions for the playoffs goals this season and be a part of this live weekly tracking on who's going to win?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
All right, so I'll rifle through them off real quick. But Alaska versus SDR, Alaska versus Reapers. What do you got?
Got to go Alaska with that. I mean, they've been, so good for so long. Basically, they have to prove to me that they're falling off before I'm going to assume that they're falling off.
Yeah. How many games do you have? Let's predict the.
Oh man, I don't think they'll sweep the Reapers, but I can't see San Diego winning more than maybe one game. So I would say probably, Alaska in 5.
All right, Willis, do you want to get in on this?
Kind of a lurker when I watch the game, but I'll have to go with what he's saying with Alaska, just because they have been good for so long, and I can't nail down how many games I think they're going to win. How long do we go? But.
All right, we'll pair you guys up then. How about that? So we'll both say 4-1. We have Las Vegas versus Redwater. What do you got there?
Las Vegas. I think they'll handle Redwater pretty easily. Like I'll be a little, more aggressive with that matchup and say that they'll sweep them.
Okay, Redwater getting swept by Vegas. Yours truly, the Copenhagen Vikings, your favorite team in the league versus the Florence Firebirds. What do you got there?
This is do you want me to give you my go with my head or my heart on this one?
I want to hear both. I want to hear both of them.
So my head says Copenhagen in probably 6 games. My heart says Florence in 7.
Oh, come on. I don't like that.
I mean, if you look at the season series, though, between you guys, I think it was dead even, wasn't it?
Pretty even, yeah. I think it was. We went 3-3 over the season, so
yeah,
could go either way for sure. And the last one, your other third favorite team, let's say, the Maccabees versus Jacksonville.
I like Miami. Actually, just impressed me a lot this year. I didn't think they were going to be bad, but with all the turnover and everything they had, I didn't think that they'd be, one of the top teams in the conference. So like props to Pawtai for that. But I mean, Jacksonville has the potential on any day to beat anybody, but that's why you play a series. So I'm going to have to go with a consistently better team and say Miami will take it in. I think they'll take it in 6, 4 games to 2.
Okay. So you obviously didn't see the head-to-head matchups we went over, but Maccabees and Jacksonville went 3-3 this season with a 0 goal differential, like aggregate over the season. So yeah, that's going to be a tight one. 4-2. I think that's what I had actually.
Now that you told me that, I kind of, just because the hockey is a dumb game sometimes, it'll be a sweep.
Oh, yeah.
It was dead even in the regular season. Just one team's going to beat the other in the playoffs.
There you go.
It's the playoffs, I think, overall are pretty even in the matchup. Yeah. Up and down. I think it's going to be one of the better playoffs, that we've had.
Yeah, sweet. Well, thanks, gentlemen, for coming on. Any final shout-outs to anyone in the league, to your homebrew buddies? Anything you want to shout out before we get off here?
I don't have any other than, I just want Florence to know that I'm going to be giving them all of my energy.
There you go. All right. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Chewie.
No problem. It was a good combo. Great to have Hume on again. He is a guest of the show. And yeah, Willis, first time guest as well.
Wow, what a commendable experience. I really commend you for arranging this to come on, Chewie.